The first time the door appeared in my apartment, I opened it. And that is the reason I don't think I'm the original me anymore. I know how that sounds. I know. If somebody told me this story a year ago, I would have assumed they were lying, hallucinating, or trying to turn some creepy dream into a viral video. But I have proof. At least, I think I do. Because 3 weeks ago, I found an old photograph hidden inside my apartment wall. The photo was taken in 1987, and I'm standing in it. Same face, same scar above my eyebrow, same black watch on my left wrist. The only problem is, I was born in 1998. So I need to tell you exactly what happened. And if you live in an old apartment building, especially one with a hallway that seems slightly longer at night, you might want to listen carefully, because this started with something so small that I almost ignored it. A door that wasn't there during the day. I moved into the apartment in late October. I'm not going to say the exact city because I still live nearby and I don't want anyone trying to find the building. But it was in the northeastern United States. Old neighborhood, brick buildings, narrow streets. The kind of place where half the apartments have been renovated into luxury units and the other half still have radiators that sound like someone hitting a pipe with a hammer. My building was 6 stories tall, built in 1911. No elevator, one laundry room in the basement, and a front door that never fully closed unless you pulled it hard. My apartment was on the 4th floor, Unit 4C. The rent was suspiciously cheap. That should have been my first warning. The landlord told me the previous tenant had moved out suddenly and left most of his furniture behind. A couch, a kitchen table, a wooden dresser, even an old floor lamp. I asked why. The landlord shrugged, said the guy got a new job somewhere out west. I remember joking he got a new job so fast he forgot his couch. The landlord didn't laugh. He just handed me the keys. Then, right before he left, he said something strange. He pointed toward the short hallway between my bedroom and bathroom, and he said, "If you hear the pipes knocking at night, don't knock back." I laughed. He didn't. Then he left. For the first few days, everything was normal. Honestly, I loved the place. It had high ceilings, old hardwood floors, big windows, and because I worked remotely, I spent most of my time there. The only thing I didn't like was the hallway. It was short, maybe 12 feet long. Bedroom at one end, bathroom at the other, blank wall on the left, closet on the right. That's it. But at night, it felt longer. I can't explain it better than that. During the day, I could walk from my bedroom to the bathroom maybe 5 steps. At night, especially when the lights were off, it sometimes felt like 8 or 10. I told myself it was perspective. Darkness messes with depth perception. Old apartments have weird angles. Whatever. Then came the first night, 3:13 a.m. I woke up because someone knocked 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. Not on my front door, inside my apartment. I sat up immediately. My bedroom was dark, except for the blue light from my phone charger. I checked the time, 3:13. Then I heard it again, knock, knock, knock. It came from the hallway. I thought about what the landlord had said. If you hear the pipes knocking at night, don't knock back. And for about 10 seconds, I just sat there, listening. Nothing. So I got out of bed, I turned on my flashlight, and I walked toward the hallway. That's when I saw the door. At first, my brain didn't understand what was wrong. It was just a door. Tall, narrow, painted white, brass knob. Nothing dramatic, nothing covered in blood, nothing obviously supernatural, but it was on the left side of the hallway, the blank wall, the wall I had looked at every single day since moving in. There was no door there. There had never been a door there, and now there was. I froze. I actually remember whispering, "What the hell?" The second I said that, something whispered back from the other side of the door. What the hell? My voice. Exactly my voice. Same tone, same hesitation, like an echo, except it came 3 seconds late. I backed away. The voice behind the door whispered again, "What the hell?" Then again, "What the hell?" Each time quieter, like something was practicing. I ran into my bedroom. The next morning, the door was gone again, but this time I had video. I watched the recording, and that's when things got worse. The video showed me standing in the hallway. It showed the blank wall. It showed the black outline appearing. It showed the door forming. Everything I remembered. But at the end of the video, after I ran away, the recording continued. My phone should have been with me. I remember holding it, but in the video, the camera stayed perfectly still, pointed at the door, for another 47 seconds. Then the door opened. A man stepped out. It was me. He looked directly into the camera and said, "Not yet." Then the video ended. I didn't go to work that day. I called the landlord. No answer. I called again. Nothing. So I went downstairs and knocked on the apartment of an older woman named Mrs. Keller. She had lived in the building for decades. I asked her if she knew anything about my apartment. The second I said 4C, her face changed. She asked me, "Did you see the extra room? Not the extra door, the extra room." I said, "What room?" She stared at me for a long time. Then she invited me inside. Her apartment smelled of coffee and old books. She locked the door behind us. Then she pulled a box from under her kitchen table. Inside were newspaper clippings, photographs, letters. Most were old. Some looked decades old.
She showed me a black and white photo of the building from 1936. Then a newspaper article from 1954. Then a missing person flyer from 1972. Different people, different years, but all connected to apartment 4C. A nurse disappeared in 1954, a college student in 1972, a married couple in 1987, a musician in 2003, and the previous tenant, the guy who supposedly moved west, had disappeared 8 months before I moved in. I asked her why the police didn't know. She said they did. But the strange part wasn't that people disappeared. The strange part was that some of them came back. I said, "What do you mean?" She handed me 2 photographs. The first showed a man named Daniel Reeves, missing in 1972, 22 years old. The second photo was taken in 1996. Same man, same face. He hadn't aged. I thought it had to be fake. Mrs. Keller said, "My husband saw him." I asked when. She said, 3 days after Daniel disappeared. Apparently, Daniel walked out of the building early in the morning. He looked normal. He spoke normally. He even knew people's names. But something was wrong. He kept asking questions about his own life. Small questions. Questions a person should know. Where do I buy groceries? What bus do I take? What's my sister's phone number? What kind of cigarettes do I smoke? Then, 1 week later, he vanished again. Mrs. Keller leaned toward me and said, "That apartment doesn't take people. It copies them." I laughed. I wish I hadn't, because she grabbed my wrist so hard it hurt and said, "If the door speaks in your voice, it already knows enough to try." I asked her one question: how do I stop it? She said, "Whatever happens, don't open the door." That night, I packed a bag. I was leaving. I didn't care about the lease. I didn't care about my furniture. I didn't care if I lost my deposit. I was done. At 11:40 p.m., I put everything important in my car. At midnight, I came back upstairs for my laptop. That was the mistake, because when I entered the apartment, the hallway was already dark. I checked my phone. 12:07. Too early. The door only appeared at 3:13. At least, that's what I thought. Then I heard someone crying behind the wall. I walked closer. The crying stopped. A voice whispered, "Please." It wasn't my voice this time. It was a woman. She said, "Please don't leave me here." I backed away. Then another voice spoke, an older man. "Help us." Then a child. "It's dark." Then dozens of voices, all at once, whispering, crying, begging. The wall began to shake, and suddenly, silence. My phone vibrated. 3:13 a.m. I stared at the screen. That was impossible. It had been 12:07. I checked again. 3:13. The door appeared, but this time it was already open. Behind it was a room, a copy of my apartment. Same couch, same windows, same kitchen, same furniture. But everything looked older, rotten, water damaged. The ceiling sagged, black mold covered the walls. And standing in the middle of the room was me. He looked exhausted, thin. His clothes were torn. His hands were bleeding. He stared at me like he had been waiting for years. Then he said, "Don't listen to her." I whispered, "Who?" He pointed behind me. I turned around. Mrs. Keller was standing in my apartment. I never heard her come in. She was smiling. And suddenly, I remembered something I should have noticed earlier. In every old photograph she showed me, Mrs. Keller looked exactly the same. Same face, same eyes, same age. I looked back toward the man inside the room. He screamed, "Close the door!" Mrs. Keller rushed at me. I grabbed the handle, she grabbed my arm, and for 1 second I saw her face change. Not like a monster, like a photograph being replaced. Her face flickered. Young woman, old man, child, my face, then hers again. I pulled away. I fell through the doorway, and the door slammed shut. When I woke up, it was morning. I was lying in my bedroom. Everything looked normal. The door was gone. Mrs. Keller was gone. My bags were still packed. My car was still outside. So I left immediately. I moved into a hotel, changed my phone number, blocked the landlord, and tried to forget everything. For 3 weeks, nothing happened. Then I noticed the scar. I have a small scar above my right eyebrow. I've had it since I was 9. I fell off a bike. Except one morning, the scar was above my left eyebrow. I thought I was confused, so I checked old photos. Every childhood picture showed the scar on the right, but in the mirror, left. Then I noticed my watch. I always wear it on my left wrist, but every photo from the apartment showed it on my right. Then came the worst part. I found the old photograph. It was inside the lining of my suitcase. I'd never seen it before. The photo showed a group of people standing outside my apartment building. The date written on the back was October 1987. Mrs. Keller was there. The missing married couple was there. And standing in the back row was me. Same face, same scar, same watch. I turned the photo over. There was a message written in my handwriting. It said, "If you're reading this, you got out again." Again. I haven't slept properly since, because now, every night at exactly 3:13 a.m., someone knocks on my hotel room door 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. I never answer, but last night, something changed. After the 3rd knock, I heard a voice in the hallway, my voice. It said, "I know which one of us opened the door." Then my phone vibrated. I got a video message, sent from my own number. The video showed my old apartment, Unit 4C. The camera moved slowly down the hallway toward the blank wall. Then the door appeared. It opened, and inside, I saw me. Not the thin version, not the bleeding version. Me, right now, sitting in this exact chair, wearing these exact clothes, recording this exact story. I watched the video for maybe 5 seconds before I realized something. There was someone standing behind me. So, if you're watching this, and you ever wake up at 3:13 a.m. because someone is knocking from inside your apartment, don't answer, don't speak, and whatever you do, don't look behind you. Because I just did, and I finally understand what the message meant. I'm not the one who escaped. I'm the door.